What's up, family? Man, I want to have a heart to heart with you guys today. Man, relax. You know what I mean? Woosah. Man, so I made a video that I released yesterday talking about just the analogy and the dynamics of the hell and the stress and the pressure that Noah and his family went through while being in the ark. And how sometimes in life, man, God can be preserving us. God can be keeping us and protecting us, and it not feel like that. It feel like we're in the middle of hell. We're in the middle of the tribulation, middle of the trial, middle of the chaos. You know what I mean? And God is still preserving you, in spite of your circumstances, in spite of what it looks like around you. God is preserving you. God is protecting you. We're gonna piggyback up off of that today. And man, everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. Everybody won't go. Stay with me, we're going somewhere. When you look at the dynamics of Noah in the Bible and just what God had to show me in regards to that, because you look at that story and you think, man, that's just so much chaos and hell and suffering and pain, just such a tragedy. You know what I mean? An epic tragedy. All those lives were just taken. All of those animals killed, the plant life and just everything, the world destroyed. And it's easy to look at that story from that perspective. Look at the hell. But what God had shown me was, Elijah, for my chosen ones. For the chosen ones, regardless of what's going on around them, I always have a hedge of protection around them. For my chosen ones, I always have a way out. For my chosen ones, I always have a way of escape. It's crazy when we sit back and we look at the Bible from that perspective of how, man, there's a story in the Bible of Lot and his wife, you know, and the angels come in and Sodom and Gomorrah, and just all the chaos, the fire and the destruction and the agony and the people screaming and crying and dying. And Lot, his wife, and his daughters have been rescued. They've been led out of Sodom and Gomorrah. And they're told not to look back. Don't turn around, don't look back. Man, you ain't going that way. Don't look back, man. Let it go. Let it go. God is about to do something behind you. Don't turn around. Don't try to be nosy. Man, just look where you're going. Look at where God is taking you. Be grateful for where God has brought you from, but be grateful for where he's taking you. A story of Lot and his wife and his daughters. So they've been led out of this city. Kind of like New York City or LA or Tokyo or any major metropolitan city, you know what I mean? Metropolis, you know, they've been brought up out of this city. And the city's been destroyed. They could hear the chaos, but they're told not to even turn around and look back. Their whole family is left there. All of their friends are left there. Everything that his daughters know are left in that city. Lot's wife had a lot of connections and contacts in that city. They've been let out. And Lot's wife turns around and looks back. For whatever reason, she wanted to see what was happening. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. She wanted to see the city one final time. She turns and looks. And she's turned to a pillar of salt right there. She died on the spot. She's killed on the spot. Boom, instantly. Just for turning around and looking at where she came from, where God brought her from. Because the angel commanded them, don't turn around. Don't look back. Don't even think about this place. It's going to be destroyed. Talked a little bit about the suffering that Noah and his family went through. Knowing that all those people that they knew, the family, the friends that they were attached to, how they all drowned. And there was nothing Noah could do about it. But before Noah, there was Lot and his family. They've been escorted about the city. Just them. And the city's been destroyed. And there's nothing they could do about it. They can't pray about it. They can't beseech God on behalf of the city. Ain't nothing they could do about what's going on back there. God has said enough is enough. I'm done. It's a wrap. So as they're walking out, you can imagine the brokenness as they're walking out into their new life, into the safety and security of where they're going. You can imagine the tears running down their eyes, running down their face. You can imagine the fear and the confusion. You can imagine the brokenness of, man, what's going to happen to Sarah, and what's going to happen to Betty, and what's going to happen to Pookie and JoJo and Jaime and all these other. You can imagine their thoughts of all of their loved ones, all of their friends, their neighbors. Knowing that they can't escape. Knowing that they're going to perish right there. Knowing they'll never be able to talk to them again. I'll never be able to see Grandma again. I'll never be able to see my bestie again. I'll never be able to see the homies again. Because they're going to be killed on the spot. And there's nothing I can do to save them. Can you imagine that confusion? Can you imagine that brokenness? Can you imagine that frustration? Can you imagine their guilty conscience? And what I mean by guilty conscience, you know their mind's playing tricks on them. Why are you being preserved? Why are you being kept alive when everybody else is dying? Why you? When so many other people could have been here. What is it about you? You know your thoughts. You know your fears and your insecurities. You know your issues. You know the trauma and the baggage you carry. Why is God keeping you? And not all these other people. You know your secrets. You wanted God to preserve you. You wanted God to protect you. And now that God is preserving you, now that God is making a way out for you, now that God is keeping you, and you see that he's keeping you, you see that his hand is upon your life, you see that he sent the angels specifically for you just to guide you to safety. Now reality kicks in. I don't deserve this. I want it. I'm glad for it. I'm grateful for it. But I don't deserve it. And I don't know why God picked me. I don't know why God spared me. I don't know why God had mercy and grace for me. Why me? When all of those people there, all of those babies and little kids, why me? I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. But God has had mercy on me. God's hand is on me. God is always protecting and preserving me. And I really don't understand it. Because the truth is, I didn't do anything to earn this. Because I'm not perfect. I have my own character defects. I have my own issues and trauma that I'm dealing with. And yet God, in his infinite knowledge and wisdom, saw fit to save me. And not any of those other people. And I can't understand why he picked me. So many people want to be a chosen one. So many people say they're a chosen one. And they don't really understand the path. They don't really understand the weight of being a chosen one. See, we want to make chosen ones seem so nice and dainty, and man, it's a great thing. It is a nice thing. It is a blessed thing. But it comes with a heavy price. It comes with a heavy price. See, some of us, we say we're chosen because of what we've done. You're not just chosen because of what you've done. You can't earn God's mercy. You can't earn God's grace. But can you still walk the path with your imperfections? Your struggles of why you? Why you? Out of all the thousands of people that was in Sodom and Gomorrah, and I believe last time I looked, it was like 100-some thousand people they thought was in that city, and that's a big, huge city at that time. You know what I mean? Out of all of those people, just a handful made it out. And for you to be part of that handful, sometimes God's plan doesn't make sense to us. Sometimes we don't understand it. Sometimes his plan can break your heart. Sometimes his plan can be confusing as hell. Sometimes you have to learn how to pick up the pieces with a broken heart, with a confused mind, and still trust the process and move forward. Knowing that everybody can't go. Everybody ain't going, even if they wanted to go. Everybody can't walk your path. Everybody's not going to be blessed like you. Everybody's not going to be favored like you. Everybody's not going to be protected like you. That's truly a humbling situation, a humbling position. Chosen ones aren't arrogant. Chosen ones aren't all out there popping their collar and flexing and flossing because they're humbled. Because they know it was only by the grace and mercy of God. Because they know that I don't really understand this. I know I don't really deserve this. And yet here I am. I don't understand why I'm still here. Stay with me. And what I mean by that is, I don't understand why God has preserved me. I know that He has. There's been so many people that I've lost along the way. There's so many people that I've had to let go of along the way. There's so many people that had to let me go along the way. And I really didn't understand why all of these people were letting me go. And what God had to show me was, Elijah, they can't go where you're going. I know it's breaking your heart. I know it's confusing to you and you don't understand it. I know all you want in the world is just to be with them. All you want in the world is just this relationship and this marriage and woo-doo-doo. I know that this is what you want, but I'm taking you somewhere and they can't go. You have a calling on your life, and they're not part of it. Your next phase in life doesn't include them. It hurts. It's painful. It's nerve-wracking to be escorted out, losing everything you gained in life. I've talked about being homeless a couple of times. Noah and his family, they were homeless too. Lot and his family, his daughters, after they were taken out of Sodom and Gomorrah, they found themselves homeless too. And what God had to show me is, Elijah, as a chosen one, you got to walk by faith. As a chosen one, you've got to really, truly trust the process. Because it's not going to make sense. Because you're going to look at yourself, and then you're going to look at other people, and you're going to look at those other people, and it's like, man, they're more qualified than I am. Man, they're better than I am. Out of it, they should be the ones that's protected. They should be the ones that's preserved. They should be the one that's chosen. But that's not how God moves. That's not how God operates. And so, you know there's nothing you've done. There's no amount of praying. There's no amount of fasting. There's no amount of giving that will make God choose you, ordain you, call you out, and make you a chosen one. You can't pray to be a chosen one. You can't fast for that. It is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Sometimes walking into the promised land hurts. Sometimes walking into the promised land is confusing. Sometimes walking into the promised land breaks your heart. Because as you're walking in, you're remembering all of the people that you lost along the way. You're remembering your daddy and your mama and your grandpa and your grandma and all those that wish they could have been there with you. You're remembering the hell you've gone through just to get here. You're remembering all those that perished along the way. They had PTSD way back then too. Post-traumatic stress disorder. You can imagine the PTSD that no one in his family had to have. Having surviving the flood in that ark, knowing that everything was destroyed. Everybody else was destroyed. You can imagine the PTSD that Lot and his daughters have. Of coming out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Leaving everything behind, knowing that everything was destroyed. And they're the only ones to survive it. I talk about these stories because we have to take the Bible and relate it to our life. And what I mean by that is, the Bible is useless if you don't have the ability to take the stories and the information there and gain some understanding about your own personal life. That's what the Bible's for. How can I make it apply to my life? What can I learn from it for my life? To help me understand why I'm going through what I'm going through. to help me understand why I've gone through what I've gone through. Because everybody can't go. Everybody's not going to make it. And there's nothing you could do about it. You can't save the world. You're a beacon of hope, a beacon of love. You're a beacon of light. But you can't save anybody. It don't matter how much you try. Man, I love you guys. I thank you for rocking out with me. Man, I don't know why I've had to have these conversations or these topics for the last couple of days. But it is what it is. I love you guys. Namaste. Happy healing. Peace.